Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on today's webinar. This is how we are going to conclude the session. My name is Gaurav Arora, and I am representing X Monks. X Monks is an academy where we bring to you world-class coaches and experts and leaders for personal transformation and leadership development. We are celebrating we are celebrating International Coaching Week, and such a pleasure for me, to bring people who are making it really huge in this business. Let's look at what's happening globally. As for ICF, coaching is going to be a $2 billion industry. It's one of the fastest growing industries in the world. And as per the recently concluded survey that was done by ICF, it said that most of the organizations, they're looking for people who are credentialed from ICF, people who are really credentialed. And why is it so? Because with credentialing comes some kind of reputation, comes some kind of credibility, comes some kind of standardization. In fact, this reminds me of my conversation with Sandy Vilas. Now, Sandy Vilas was the first president of ICF. And I was talking to him, and I was very curious to understand, help me understand, Sandy, what was the objective behind creating ICF? And Sandy Vilas, in his own ways, mentioned something very beautiful in a very, very simplistic manner. He said, you know what? The way coaching is growing, and I'm talking about 1995, right? The way coaching is growing, we need processes, we need systems that could help people standardize and maintain the quality of coaching. Now, if you look at 1995, and today we are in 2020, 25 years later, we have been able to maintain the quality. Every year we take the quality to the next level. I've had the honor of serving ICF for 3 years when coaching was very, very new to India. I remember those days when we used to go door to door. We used to talk to people. We used to interact with a lot of people. And the challenge was, how can we evangelize coaching, right? That was the time where we brought everything together. So ladies and gentlemen, without taking much of your time, it's a sheer honor to bring to you Surbhee Singh. Surbhee is an associate certified coach. She's on her journey to get her professional certified coaching certification from ICF. She is the chief people's officer with X Monks. She takes care of a lot of things. She is a fantastic therapist. She works with a lot of teenagers. She works with children, and she also helps the coaching community to get their CKA clear. CKA stands for Coaching Knowledge Assessment. Coach Knowledge Assessment. She's one of the finest human beings I know of. We have known each other for almost like 10 years, almost like 14 years now, right? She's like a mentor to me. She's somebody that I look up to when I'm dealing with something very, very personal. When I'm not being able to take decisions as far as the people are concerned in the organization, I know who to go to, right? So ladies and gentlemen, please join your hands together and welcome Surbhee Singh, Associate Certified Coach, to talk about cracking the ICF Coach Knowledge Assessment. Cracking the ICF Coach Knowledge Assessment by Surbhee Singh. Surbhee, welcome, and thank you so much for taking time out to help all of us crack the ICF Coaching Knowledge Assessment. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav, and thank you so much for your kind words. It has made my day. Before I start, I wanted to bring forth two things. That today, X Monks completes 11 years, which is a great accomplishment, and a vision and a dream of Gaurav has taken shape, and it is now an ecosystem which is bringing together the warrior monks, people from all facts of life in their personal transformation journey and leadership development journey. So congratulations to Gaurav and the X Monks team on that. And I also wanted to wish everyone a very happy Mother's Day. To all the mothers in this group and to all the mothers in this whole world who have made us, been there for us, and we are who we are because of them. So a big salute to all the mothers. So I feel that it is a very beautiful day to have this conversation on understanding how to crack a very important milestone in your credentialing journey. So I will take you through this entire process of what the coach knowledge assessment is. I will briefly touch upon the application process and the credentialing process. And the main focus of our conversation today is around the format, how to prepare, what to expect, and certain suggestions and tips from my side in how can you ace this. At the same time, it would be great if you can put all your questions in the Q&A window. If there are any comments in the chat window, I'll keep on asking you repeatedly about where you are in this stage or with what the understanding is about this current topic. So without taking any more of your time, let me just share the screen and then start from here. The coach knowledge assessment, it is a tool which is used to measure the understanding of the knowledge and skills important in the practice of coaching. And this assessment is built around the understanding of the ICF definition of coaching, the core competencies, and the code of ethics. So before I move ahead, I would request the ex-monks team to put up that poll. I would like to know from all of you whether you are an Ericksonian certified coach or have you done your certification from any other school which is offering the coach certification. So I would just request my team to put up that poll. Take your time and just mention whether you are an Ericksonian or you are a non-Ericksonian. It would help me in giving my methodologies around preparation for the CKA. Could we have the final percentage of how many Ericksonians and non-Ericksonians are there in this webinar today? All right. So it's a 54-46% of our graduates from the Ericksonian School of Certification of Coaching and from the non-Ericksonian. So that is great. So I will surely touch upon the aspects around your preparation because I'm familiar with the Ericksonian methodology, but I will also include the other conversations. As I'm trying to understand where you are in your journey, if you could quickly just look at these different stages and put in the chat window if these are the stages you are in. So stage A mentions that you have not yet completed your 60 hours of coach certification training. Stage B is that you have completed 60 hours. Stage C is that after your training, you have also completed 40 hours of coaching with your clients. Stage D is yet to start your mentoring process. E is started the mentoring process with a mentor, and F is ready to apply. So in the chat box, we have one who is ready to apply. So I must tell you that you have attended this webinar at the most, I would say, auspicious time in your preparation for the credentialing process. Because in this year, due to the COVID-19 situation, even ICF has made certain changes in the requisites in terms of the number of coaching hours, and that would help in speeding up your preparation for the CKA. So thank you so much, everyone, for putting in that information. That's going to be extremely helpful as we go along. When you do look at your credentialing process, the first stage is that first we need to understand which is the pathway your certification school is providing. If you are a non-Ericksonian and you want to understand which is your credentialing pathway, please do contact with our team at the ex-monks, and they can explain that which credentialing pathway is your school certified with. So there are different pathways. We have the ACTP pathway, we have the ACSTH, which is the approved coaching specific training hours. And then we have the portfolio path, where the training programs are not approved by ICF, but we can build up our CCE units, which is the continuing coach education units, through different courses. So if you are aware about your credentialing pathway, then the next step is that for these pathways, mentoring is a prerequisite in your coach credentialing journey, which is the ACC, ACSTH, ACC portfolio, PCC, ACSTH, PCC portfolio, and MCC. What I could see in the responses in the chat were that there were more respondents who were yet in the stage of either completing their training program or had finished the training program and started working with their clients. So I'm assuming that it would be more in the first bracket, which is the ACC, ACSTH. And in any case, as I mentioned, you can check with our team and understand better about which pathway is best suited as per your course. Now, if mentoring is a requirement for the pathway that you have, the requisites are that there should be 10 mentoring hours, out of which there can be a group coaching mentoring for 7 hours, and minimum 3 out of 10 one-on-one mentoring. And the ones who have been mentored by the Sounion team, they know that there are many more mentoring sessions, more beyond these 3, to fully equip you with your credentialing journey. So mentoring is one of the key requisites. And once you have got your complete certification, which is 60 hours of training, you have got your mentoring, then the next step is to fill your application form for your credentialing journey. So as you fill the application form, you can look it up at the coachfederation.org, which is the ICF's official website. And there in the credentialing column, you can find out that which pathway you want to apply in. And then you would find another mention of, you can apply here. So there is also a complete explanation given of every stage in the application process. But here, what is required from you is that you would be putting in your coach certification training certificate and any other certificates if you have. Then for your mentoring, you do not have to upload anything, but the name of the mentor coach, their email address, the credential level, and the start and the end day of the mentoring relationship has to be mentioned. And ideally, it should be within a time span of 3 months. So please make a note of that. Then again, a performance evaluation, which is an audio recording and a written transcript of the coaching session has to be uploaded. So once you get all these important requisites, you will apply for your credentialing. And then after the review of your credentialing application, you would get an email from the ICF credentialing team, which will basically tell you that, share the link with you for the coach knowledge assessment test. So just put it in the chat window if it is clear till now, before we move on to the next stage, which is the preparation of the CKA. Give me a yes or give me a no. All right, clear, clear, clear. What was the 3 months requisite mentioned? So Sumita, I will just explain that to you as the yeses are pouring in, that the mentoring has to be completed within a time span of 3 months. So the start date and the end date, which you will mention in your application form, should be in the 3 months. In the chat window, I see another question. Where do we get the application form? It is on the website, coachfederation.org. When you go to your credentialing pathway, if it is ICF, ACC, ACSTH, once you open that, you would see that there are, it is mentioned that this is where you can apply. I would answer Pavan's question here only. It is how many hours of coaching sessions is a prerequisite. So you have to complete 100 hours. You have to complete 100 hours of your coaching sessions. Earlier, it was, before April, the breakup was that 75 hours paid sessions and 25 pro bono. But due to the COVID-19 situation, IC has increased the number of pro bono hours. So you can do 30 hours of pro bono coaching and 70 hours of paid coaching. 3 months from start to finish is what mentoring needs to be completed. Yes, start to finish. Recording coaching transcript is based in confidentiality. So you can definitely have a conversation, have a written conversation with your client that you would be sending the recording, and it is for the review purpose for your credentialing. It will not be used anywhere else. So that confidence is very important as per our credentialing process. 100 hours in addition to 60 hours of training. Absolutely, yes, Jayant. So 60 hours of training session as per your certification process. Post that, you start with your journey of working with clients, working with your peers, and you break it up as pro bono and 25 and 75. Can we start counting? So as soon as you complete your 60 hours, you can start logging in your hours. The Ericksonian community, my FRM team, we send out our log sheet, which needs to be retained and updated, and it remains with you. It does not have to be uploaded as per the new laws, confidentiality laws, but you have to maintain a log whether they were paid sessions or pro bono sessions. So now actually I see a lot of questions coming up. So I would request that okay, so do all the sessions have to be recorded? I'll take a couple of more and then I'll proceed to the presentation. If it's okay. So where do we get the log sheet template? From our team, FRM, Shalini Bajaj can be reached to give you the log sheet. It is also available on the ICF website. Some of the questions I know I have missed. So let me start moving ahead in the presentation. And I would request if you can put the question and answer in the Q&A section. It would help me understand which questions have been answered and which have been left. So Ajay has requested for the log sheet format. Ajay, surely our team will get back to you on this. And so has Vijaya. So,
ladies and gentlemen, we would be addressing all these questions. You know, all the questions that you're asking. Most of this stuff is already covered in the slide deck that Surbhee would take us along, right? So my request is just hold your horses, because all these questions would get addressed and answered, and much more. And anyways, we would have enough and more time at the end of this presentation. The presentation is not that long. It's only a 30 minutes conversation. And then we are only here to address all your questions. The complete team, today Surbhee has the complete battalion supporting her. So no worries. Over to you, Surbhee. My sincere apologies.
No, thank you, Gaurav. Thank you. Because I wanted to check the understanding whether, we've been clear so far. And it's great to see so many questions. My only request would be that if you put it in the Q&A section, we would not miss out on any of the questions. So now let me start ahead. This is more around the preparation for the CKA. That is the assessment, which is very crucial for you to get your credential. Now, this CKA, the questions are around these 5 domains. The first 3 are on this slide, which is the setting the foundation. It talks about 2 core competencies, which is meeting the ethical guidelines and professional standards, establishing the coaching agreement. The other section is co-creating the relationship, which will have the competencies, establishing trust and intimacy with the client, coaching presence. The third section is communicating effectively. The domain is facilitating learning and results, which has 4 competencies: creating awareness, designing actions, planning and goal setting, managing progress and accountability. Now, apart from these competencies, in the CKA, there is another section or another domain which will test you on your coaching foundations and knowledge base. These would have very generic questions, which would be about your understanding of coaching. So the CKA is divided into 5 sections, which is 5 domains. The preparation materials, the preparation material is all present in the ICF website, which has the code of ethics and standards. It has the core competencies and core competencies comparisons table. So here are different markers which have been identified by ICF at how will they test the level of the coach in terms of ACC level, PCC level, and MCC level. So this really comes extremely handy while preparing for the CKA. I'm recovering from a bad throat, which can be quite scary in today's times. So going ahead with this now. About the ICF, its mission, values, and definition of coaching. So all these handouts are available in the Coach Federation website. Please keep them ready, go through them again and again, because this would give you the framework of how you can start preparing. Now, when you will attempt the CKA, they will not be direct questions, not more than 20%. 20% would be, straight queries around maybe the definition. It could be around any of the ethical laws or principles. It could be straight from what you have learned. But 80% questions are all scenario based. Now, these scenario based questions you can address very comfortably if you have been a good student and attended your training program thoroughly, and you interacted and had a lot of sessions internally. Also, the mentoring that you have gone through, those would also equip you with different scenarios. So in combination, that your own practice, your own understanding of coaching, this is more important than actually knowing the competencies verbatim, because those questions will never be as per a competency. Now, if I was to give you an example, the questions would be around that the coachee normally is in a very high energy state, but when you've come to the session today, they are not responding. You don't feel that same energy. And then there would be options around it. Or there could be another question around that the coachee is saying that they're feeling suicidal, and then there are 4 options around it. So a large percentage, which is close to 80, would be scenario-based questions. They would basically be testing your professional conduct, the conflicts of interest, your conduct with clients, and confidentiality and privacy. Now, all those questions are again divided into different domains. You would have the heading of a domain with one question displayed. So you know very well that which domain are they assessing you on. Is it on the domain A or B or C or D or E? So that is very beautifully laid out in the CKA. If it is around the ethical guidelines, then you know it is domain A, and the question would be around understanding either the ethical principles or the ethical pledge or anything which you would have understood from that particular domain. Now, the good news is that the passing grade is 70%. That means that out of a total of 155 questions, you can leave 46 questions. So I'll come to this in the next slide. And I'll explain the scenario-based questions even more. So just be with me and let me take you through this entire presentation. The format is, it will contain 155 multiple choice test items. There would be a short statement or a question with 4 possible responses. 2 would be very close to each other. And that's where you actually have to go back to your basics. That is your training, your real-time coaching sessions with your clients, what was explained to you during your mentoring feedback. So that information will come in really handy in understanding the competency, because there would be no question as a direct lift from the competency. It would always be weaved around a certain competency. So out of these 155 questions, what you need to get is 109 questions. And in a time span of 3 hours, you can easily look at all these questions and finish them. As I mentioned, 20% would be simple text questions, which you can immediately respond to. The others would be scenario-based, which would take some thought process. The facts about CKA is that it needs to be finished in the 3 hours time limit. In case you get logged out, then you can log in again and you can start from that same point, but you cannot take it at different times. So after you've got the link from the ICF credentialing team, when you click on the link that you are enrolling to give your CKA, you will start your time for the CKA from then. So be very clear that when you really want to sit for that assessment. After the link is shared with you, you have a time period of 60 days to go ahead with this assessment. If by any chance you were not able to clear it in the first attempt, you can retake it. It can be taken twice in a quarter. Every question would also have a response that you can mark it for review. So if you're not sure and you want to first finish the assessment, please mark it for review. And you will always have the access to a summary page, which will show you all the attempted questions in one line. It will also show you whether you attempted it, not attempted it, or marked it for review. So you have time to go back to the questions. The results are given immediately. So after you register, you submit the test. you would know whether you have passed and cleared with flying colors. And after that, a week later, you will get the email as a confirmation of your credentialing process. So some tips which I can suggest, and I spoke to other coaches also, which they shared with me. One is that you choose a calm and an isolated place for your assessment. Goes without saying, ensure you have a stable system and a safe, stable internet connection. Please clear all the cookies and any other information which is available in the browsers. Try and finish the first 60 questions in the first hour, because the section A, B, and C have relatively lesser questions than section D, which has 4 competencies. So again, as I mentioned, there are options that you can mark it for review. If you feel that you want to go back and relook at the response you've given, move ahead, move faster. Here, what I would really say is that go with your gut, and you believe in your learning and you believe in your coaching experience, because that's what ICF is assessing you on. So what we can do is we can take some questions, Gaurav, and then I have a short quiz towards the end of the session to see and give them a flavor of what CK is all about. What do you think? Can we take some questions now?
Absolutely, as per your comfort. So here are the questions. I'll be more than happy to read them. The first question is reciprocal coaching considered as paid one or pro bono?
Reciprocal coaching. So I'm assuming that you are coaching your peer and your peer is coaching you back, then it can be considered.
No, would it be considered paid or pro bono?
This would be paid, peer coaching.
Okay, thank you. How many hours of recording do we need to submit or share?
So as per the ICF guidelines, it has to be a 60-minute recording. It has to be a complete coaching session. And that recording has to be in an MP3 format with a transcript. So the guidelines of the transcripts are also mentioned on the credentialing page, which is going to change from July. So in case you are going for your credentialing before July, there are different norms. After July, then the formats have been changed. So you then cannot submit it in a PDF version. And there are certain other specifications which are given.
Yeah, and for ACC, Surbhee, I mean, is it the same case with ACC or PCC, or is it like, how does that work? And also, how many recordings do we need to submit?
For ACC, we need to submit 1. And if you are going through the ACSTH route for PCC, then you have to submit 2. But if you have done the complete ACTP journey from us, that is Ericsson, then the evaluation process is very different. You will get evaluated by the Ericsson global team. So then the recordings don't have to be submitted.
And what is the minimum time frame? So what is the minimum recording session that we can submit?
For the recording, it is anywhere between 45 minutes to 60 minutes.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, are there any sample tests available? Shiba, Surbhee would be sharing that, and you would be involved in that right now after this conversation. Thank you for asking. Yeah, are the questions in CK are qualitative, subjective questions?
So there would be a statement, which is either a scenario or it is a generic statement. It would have 4 responses, which are basically, it's multiple choice assessment. And out of those 4 choices, you have to pick up 1. As I come to the next screen after these questions, then you would be able to have a flavor of how the questions look like.
Thank you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we would be sharing the recording of this program. It would be available on our website, www.xmonks.com. And it will take us just a couple of days to put everything together. We're in the process of collating all the videos, making sure that they are presentable, and then we'll uploading it on our website. You can go there at, as I said, www.xmonks.com. You can access it. The next question is, what is changing in July? Can you please elaborate and explain what are the requirements after July?
So after July, what is changing is the submission of the transcript format, and the details can be shared by our team. So earlier they were accepting the PDF versions also. After July, they are requesting in the Word formats, and it has to be time stamped. So these are the two crucial changes which are there. So time stamped is that if I'm speaking to you as a coach, so I asked you this question at 5:03 p.m. and the coachee, it goes as a separate statement. And then as a coachee, when you responded, it goes as a separate statement, coachee, and the response with the timestamp. So this is how the transcript has to be laid out.
Okay. This is another question, Surbhee. It says, what is the role of a mentor coach in this journey for us?
I would say the role of the mentor coach is extremely crucial, extremely crucial. And as I answer this, may I request my colleague to put up the poll that how many of you are already with a mentor coach, or are you looking for a mentor coach? As I explained, you can see the poll also coming up on your screens. So once you've gone through your certification, which is going through the understanding of the coaching competencies, and you would have practiced with your peers, cohort, and your comfort zone. Once you have moved on from that stage and you start logging in your coaching hours, we recommend that after 40 hours, please do sign up with a mentor, because that is the time you can actually sharpen your saw. So what you have learned and where you need to improve can be then assessed by a mentor coach. In these conversations, so you would be coaching a person in front of the mentor. And so this is the Ericsson graduate poll which has come up. We have a poll for all the participants, whether they have a mentor right now or would they like to sign up with a mentor. Because the ones who already have a mentor would know that how this journey is progressing. So you would have a coach and a coachee engagement where you would be coaching the person who has been assigned to you, and basis that conversation, the mentor coach would then give you the explanation on all the competencies. How are you showing up, whether this is an ACC level or a PCC level coaching, which competencies need more attention, what could have been done better. So that close assessment will really help you in preparing for the CKA as well. And in any case, as I mentioned, this is sharpening your saw. So when we know that there is a mentor coach who is looking at our all the competencies that we are displaying as a coach, that information is very, very helpful. The feedback is very helpful.
Okay. The next question is, who can be our mentor for CKA?
So it has to be an ICF certified coach of good repute. For the ACC, anyone who has the ACC renewal done, that means they have completed one complete round of ACC, which is of 3 years, or they are a PCC, or they are the MCC. So these are the coaches who can coach at an ACC level. For PCC level mentoring, a PCC coach or an MCC coach. And then for MCC, it is a MCC coach. In our team, the Ericsson team, we have the youngest master certified coach, that is Gaurav, with us. We have Lata, who's a very accomplished PCC, and they have been mentoring the graduates. And so far, if I can say with complete confidence, we've had 100% success rate in the credentialing clearing of our graduates. If you could also have the response around the poll, are you enrolled for mentoring? That would be, again, good information for us here. If there's any other question, Gaurav?
Yeah, there are many questions. Shall I ask?
Yeah. Okay. So we have, so we have a huge percentage, 78%, who have yet not enrolled for mentoring. So my humble suggestion, submission to all of you is that as soon as you complete your 40 hours, please reach out and sign up with a mentor. So what we recommend is that you start your mentoring journey after 40 hours. And when you're close to 90 hours or after completion of your 100 hours, then please do your recording. because by then you would have refined on any areas if they needed to be fine-tuned.
Okay. Brilliant questions. Um, apart from this scenario, how does ICF evaluate the impact you have created on your client?
So currently ICF is looking at the credentialing pathways to understand how you are demonstrating your coaching abilities. And that is why there are 3 pathways created, which is the ACC, ECC, and MCC. Depending on the number of hours that you put in and your coaching experience, you are evaluated at that skill set level. Otherwise, ICF does a lot of surveys and polls to understand how coaching has impacted the clients, and they publish these surveys and reports very regularly around the impact of coaches, around specific domains, and that information is readily available on the ICF website.
Yeah. How much time does it take to get yourself certified on the program, on the coach certification program?
So coach certification is what is recommended by ICF is a 60 plus hours program. With us at Ericsson Coaching International and representing them in India, X months, we divide this program into a 4+4 day format. We are also running online programs right now with the situation of COVID-19. So here it is a further breakup of half-day sessions to make sure that the learning and your other responsibilities are not hampered. So you would need a 60 plus hours program.
I would like to become an ACC. How much time will it take from the time I do my certification and get myself mentored and apply? How much time will it take?
Wow. So I would say that make the most of this time, because you would find your coaches also more ready and more willing to have conversations. That's what I've experienced, that this time there were so many people who wanted to have these discussions and conversations. And at the same time, ICF has made some relaxations in the rules in terms of adding your pro bono hours. So it's a 70-30 division now, 70 paid and 30 pro bono. So as soon as you finish your certification, my suggestion to you is that you start building your coaching hours, start clocking in those hours as pro bono and as paid. So if you are an internal certified coach for your organization and you have coaching sessions internally, if you get the letter from your organization, those can be counted as paid hours. You can also do paid sessions in the form of an exchange. So start building your hours. When you are closer to your 40 hours, please sign up with a mentor. That would be extremely helpful in then speeding up your journey. Close to 90 hours, as I mentioned, 90 hours and 100 hours, do your recording. In any case, you would have your mentor who would guide you at that stage, that when your recording is as per the ICF standards. And then just upload and get ready and go back to this presentation, see what all is required to learn, to prepare, and just go for it then.
Yeah. Is there any timeline limit to complete 100 coaching hours post your ACSTH to enroll for ACC?
That's a very good question. So we call it the recency in the certification process. Earlier, the last 25 hours should be within the 18 months of applying for your credential. So for example, if I am to apply today for my ICF credentialing pathway, in the last 18 months, I should have had at least 18 coaching sessions. But now again, due to the COVID-19 situation, ICF has relaxed it to 24 months. So if in the past 2 years, you have had 25 coaching sessions, you are eligible to apply for your credentialing process. Now, if you're looking at ACC, then those 100 hours should be from 8 clients. And the second clause is around the recency, that the last 25 hours should be within a stipulated time frame. If you are doing this by the end of this December, you can look at a 24 months window. January 2021, there is a notification that the credentialing rules might change. So till then, at least you have this window.
Okay. Um, what are the different ways in which Erickson helps an individual to get 100 hours of coaching? So that is one question. Another question is, how does X-Monk support in getting both pro bono and paid hours? So there are two questions, but can be combined.
Combined. So X-Monks, we are the Indian partners for Ericsson Coaching International. And when I answer, I'm answering on the behalf of the Ericsson India team. X-Monks is our, I would say, the umbrella organization. So here, as the complete credentialing pathway, the ones who are with us, they know that there is an FRM team which supports the coaching journey in terms of understanding where you are, how many hours you have clocked. We also support in helping you get pro bono hours with our tie-ups with the social development sector. Now that is a little challenging in today's times because the social development sectors, they are deployed more in managing the COVID-19 responses. So right now we don't have many coaches available from the organizations we have tie-ups with. We can assist you in some peer-to-peer coaching connections. There is a lot of information and learning material which is shared. Very soon you would see, you know, a complete website which would have different templates and learning material and all the other things that you would require to be a very sound coach and to be recognized with all the skill sets that are required. So this support and a complete hand-holding is with you from start to end. The mentors are available and you can sign up for the mentoring process. You can start building your clock. So the question was more around the coaching hours. So yes, the two ways is that one, we help tie up with the social development sector, which right now is a little difficult. Two is we can enable peer-to-peer interactions.
There are three people who have asked the same question. 100 hours from 8 coachee, does it mean that you need minimum 8 coachee or only 8 coachee?
Minimum 8 coachees. So when you compile your log sheet, it has to be 8 different coachees. If in one organization, there are 3 different coachees or 4 different coachees, and your contract is with the organization, just mention the name of the organization and also the coachee details. Now, earlier, it used to be uploaded, the log sheet, but now we don't have to upload it, but the ICF can ask for it anytime. So the information should be available with you.
Can you explain how Ericsson graduates would be evaluated? Shiva, I'm not sure if you're asking for module 1 and 2 or 1, 2, 3, 4, because there are 2 different processes. However, I'm throwing the ball at Surbhee's court, and my assumption is she's going to address both in case you've done module 1 and 2, and in case you've done module 1, 2, 3, and 4.
So Shiva, if it is applying for the ACC credentialing right now only, so then we would be in the ACSTH category, which would require the same prerequisites that I put up earlier, that 100 hours completion. The certificate has to be uploaded, a transcript and a recording session have to be uploaded, and you have to clear your CKA. If you have done module 1, 2, 3, 4, and you are applying through that ICTP route, then the mentoring is not required, but the CKA is mandatory, and the coaching sessions for the PCC route, they are done directly through the Ericsson Global team, and Gaurav is also one of the assessors on that team.
How many minimum or maximum hours coaching with one coach is required, or there's no such rule?
That is your arrangement with the coachee or the organization or the individual you're working with, because at times it should be decided in the first session as a contract that how many sessions would be required with this particular coachee. Sometimes what we have observed is that once one developmental goal, one set of developmental goals have been achieved, then they also ask for continuation of developmental goals, and the sessions can extend from 6 to 12 to 18. So all depends on what is the contract you have with that client.
Okay, thank you. Surbhee, Gaurav, do you have an empanelment you could then recommend for any request you get? If so, how do I get to know about the empanelment process?
You can surely connect with our team at Xmonks and we can explain the empanelment process. Again, as I mentioned, the prerequisites are that you should complete this entire process. Then the industry experience and the coaching experience is very relevant in this entire empanelment journey. So we can have a conversation around that. You can connect with any of the team members and we can discuss that for sure.
If I'm applying for my credentialing, how should I how should I choose my mentor?
If you are in Ericsson, you don't have to go anywhere. You have the master sitting in front of you, and at the same time, we have other mentors. So we can connect you with the mentor, and you can decide and see what this energy is. If you are not from Ericsson and you want to sign up with us to take up a mentor coach, please do contact us, and we can explain this whole process. We can tell you what the mentoring journey is going to look like, and we can connect you with the mentors on our team.
A lot of questions coming for the mentoring, and we'll take, if you allow, shall we take more or?
Yeah.
Okay. So next question is, can number of hours be a mixture of different kinds of coaching? For example, business coaching, life coaching, leadership coaching, or need to be in one area only?
So they are not asking you what domains are you coaching in, because once you've gone through a complete certification process, and I know the Sounion coaching framework, and in the morning only I was talking to another peer who is a coach, who is one of the few selected global coaches for his organization. So he also mentioned the same thing, that if you've gone through the Ericksonian methodology and the Ericksonian framework, it is complete in itself. So here, if you know this information is totally available for you to address any kind of a credentialing scenario. And
thank you.
When you're coming from different schools, then of course we need to see that how the frameworks have been.
Okay, so the next question is, what are the benefits of ICF credentials vis-a-vis just having Ericsson certificate in the journey of coaching practice?
So Ericsson again is a very recognized name in the corporate world, because Ericsson does hold its stature, because it started way back, even before ICF was formulated in 1995. Ericsson started in 1980. So the recognition of Ericsson as an organization is definitely there. But what I want to bring to your attention is that when you are working with organizations, or when you're working in a scenario where you are getting compared with other coaches, credentialing helps set certain benchmarks. So the study from ICF mentioned that more than 50% of the clients do not sign up with a non-credentialed coach. So it depends on which business domain do you want to be in.
Yeah.
If your niche does not demand you to demonstrate your credentials, and people understand that you are the right person or the best person for that scenario, then it's your choice. But if you feel that you are in a very competitive scenario where you might get shortlisted because of the credentials that you hold, then I must recommend that go for your credentialing.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's ICF definitely is a supreme power. At the end of the day, it's a credentialing body. So it's really unfair to ask this question that, okay, in case if I'm a graduate, let's say if I've done my 10th class from modern Barakhamba, and if I've not yet got the stamp of CBSE, would I be acknowledged anywhere else? So my answer is no, definitely no. So we don't recommend that you should only go with Ericsson, right? Do your own homework. Speak to people from different schools in the country today. And then ICF is must, right? Is Ericsson must? No, absolutely not. Is ICF must? To a large extent, yes, because there are different surveys that people are doing, and companies are asking for ICF. As we mentioned, that ICF gives you a stamp, it gives you a validation, it gives you a credibility, it gives you that you follow certain standards as far as coaching is concerned. That is one. It does not mean that there are no coaches in the world who are doing really well for themselves without ICF. If you look at most of the masters, whether we are talking about Marshall Goldsmith or Sir John Whitmore, none of them are ICF credentialed, right? So in case you can identify and find your own niche, please go ahead. in case you would like to go ahead with ICF, I would strongly recommend Ericsson or any other coach training program. It's absolutely your choice. I would strongly say, I strongly recommend go and speak to people. And wherever you feel that you can actually connect with the other person, where you feel some kind of authenticity, where you feel that these people are not here to make a fool out of you, it's absolutely fine. Let me just share this. Let me just read this message for you guys. For me, that it happened for the first time. One of my team members sent this. There's somebody who enrolled for the program, and because of this COVID-19 situation, we could not run the online, we could not run the in face-to-face program. So we asked these people to, why don't you get onto the online program? And there's some token amount that he actually uh, gave us, right? And because of this COVID-19 situation, we could not return his money, right? We tell people that in case you are not finding value, please come to us after the program as well. We are going to give your money back. Now, interestingly, this guy has written a message to one of my team members. He says that you guys are failing the confidence quotient big time. Seems like a setup. Yeah, I saw you. And in a session that was scammed, a real coaching session would have been a good idea. A lot more discussion, a lot more discussion would have happened if it had been real. Gaurav is so fake. He's the joke of the 5 dots. In any case, please arrange for my refund ASAP and no more fakes on your finance guys issues, right? And then he writes, tomorrow, or we are talking lawyers. Monday, you have asked me for time. I have accommodated no more. Come through or I will. Now, you know, if I'm the client and if I'm going to any ABC organization, and if this is my experience, I will not go to Ericsson for sure, right? So you make your own judgments, and the best way to make judgments is speak to our people, speak to our team members, and see if it resonates with you. Then we are the best people for you. I promise you, right? We've had the honor of taking almost like over 700 people through this coaching journey. We are one of the fastest growing coach community in the country. At the same time, we have our own flaws as well. So in case we don't resonate with you, absolutely, we are not the right people. I'll be more than happy to connect you with my colleagues, with my friends who are running different coach training organizations, right? There are other coach training organizations, including, Coach Arya is there, then NLI is there, then Grow Coach is there, then there are 10 different coaching organizations, and all of them, they have got something really incredible to offer to you, right? But at the end of the day, if the person that you'll be learning from, if that person does not resonate, we are not the right people for you. And as I mentioned, that we'll be more than happy to assist you. And once you have done your coach training program from somewhere else, please come to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you in your coaching journey, right? Be a part of our coaching community. In this way, we'll learn that what's happening in the world. Otherwise, could be a possibility that we are running in our own well, we are running in our own shell, and we are not growing, right? So please give us an opportunity to come back and learn together. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. So sorry, Surbhee. Please go ahead.
No. I was enjoying this conversation. So I guess what I'd like to suggest is that you understand that the niche or the domain you are in, whether credentialing is a must for you to generate more business. And our experience says that if you are in a competitive scenario where there are other credential coaches, then it surely helps, because sometimes this becomes a way of shortlisting coaches. So they will come to understanding, the real you after certain rounds of shortlisting. So we would bring forth to you the ICF data, which mentions that majority of the clients look for credentials. And this has been our experience also when we work with organizations about how they will evaluate a coach's understanding of a subject.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I can see Poonam saying, I completely believe in X Monks. I recommend everyone I know who wants to be a coach to X Monks. Thank you, Poonam. Shiba, thank you so much. Ericsson is the best. Ajay Pashicha, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, there are a couple of people who are on this call right now. They're from the first batch. And I remember people like Ajay Pashicha, right? So when I reached out to him, I said, no conversations, nothing going. This is what we are charging. Please come for the program. And somehow Ajay went to his boss at that point in time, and he said, nothing going, no conversation. Gaurav is saying that we should go and attend this program, come along, right? So that's how in the first batch itself, we had 24 people without any marketing. 24 people, ladies and gentlemen, right? No marketing. First batch coach certified by Ericsson India is on the session today. Thank you so much, Ajay. You You mean a lot to me. Agree, Poonam, they are really hand-holding us to take us forward despite our pace of ed progression. I thank X-Monks for taking care of me at every challenge I faced in my journey and all the education webinars that they're ongoing have to us. Thanks, X-Monks. Thank you, Team X-Monks. Agree with Poonam. Completely agree. It has been a life-changing experience. Thank you, Gaurav. Awesome and sure you are genuine, no doubt. Thank you so much. Gaurav is a good human being. Hey, I love this. When people say this, I love this. That's really matters in this work. Very delighted to be a part of X-Monks. Gaurav and team has been always there, hand-holding, guiding, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep pouring. We are going to give you special discounts in the next program. My pleasure, Gaurav. It's a pleasure to be associated with you. Thank you. It's awesome. No, I was just kidding. We are not going to give you any discounts. Rather, we are going to gear it up further. It's awesome, X-Monks, and could change gears with such agility to virtual programs, which is the way of life. This, Sumita, thank you so much for sharing this, that we have been able to change gears. If you ask me, this all the kudos go to the team today that we have at X-Monks. Trust me, they are working really hard. Yesterday when we had the launch of the report, the team did not sleep till 4 o'clock in the morning, and they were up and running at 6 o'clock, right? So the team is working really hard. Kudos to team. Learning at Ericsson is great fun and has widened our horizons. Thank you, X-Monks. Thank you. I'm not your graduate, but love your candidness. Thank you, Apurv. Plus taxes. Yes, yes. You have a great team going for you. Yes, Shiva, thank you so much. It is indeed. God has been very, very kind. The next question, Surbhee, for you is, so if I've done we understand that for ACTP, you require 125 hours. In case I've done module 1 and 2 from another coach training institute, and I would like to enroll for 3 and 4, what is the possibility? And will the person be still evaluated by Ericsson team?
So this would, then the pathway would be ACSTH, because ACTP organizations, when the schools are getting themselves credited from ICF, the course content is shared and they are evaluated in different ways before the ACSTH and ACTP pathways are given out. So if 1 and 2 you have done from elsewhere and 3 and 4 from Ericsson, it would be the ACSTH pathway. So here you would be required to share 2 recordings with transcripts to the ICF credentialing board.
Thank you. The next question is, the mentoring has to be 3 months prior to the application or any slot of 3 months after ACSTH?
Any slot of 3 months. Any slot of 3 months.
The next question is, my mentor coaching was done about 5 years back. Is that still valid?
5 years back. So there have been some rules, Gaurav, you'll have to help me here. Been a lot of rules which have changed.
Yeah, so not sure it would still be valid. However, there are a couple of things that you need to take care of. One, as we mentioned, that you need to have minimum of 25 hours of coaching. And I understand that you're applying for PCC and how the mentoring has to be done, or in case it cannot be considered, I will be more than happy to assist you on that. I know one call is pending on that itself, so I'll come back to you, sir. So sorry. Sincere apologies. We spoke 2 days back and I just forgot to pull this thread together.
The ones who are now going for their PCC pathway, so again, the COVID situation, they have changed the pro bono and the paid hours. Now it has been increased to 60 pro bono hours.
Yeah. Thank you. Hari Prasad ji, bahut shukriya. Thank you so much. I keep doing peer coaching with lots of coaches across the globe. I'm happy and proud that I've attended Ericsson training. And this method is just great. Thank you, Ericsson team and Ericsson India team and X-Monks for the great training and support. Bahut shukriya, sir. The next one is, I am sorry I got disconnected for a moment. What was my question answered? How does an ICF evaluate impact of coaching on my client to evaluate my performance for accreditation? I guess we have addressed that. However, I'll request Surbhee, if you can just.
So I'll mention again.
Yeah.
When you submit your recording, one is CKA will test your understanding of the coach thoroughly. At the same time, when you submit your recording, so when you look at the comparison model which has been shared on the ICF website, there are different markers which are mentioned. ACC markers, PCC markers, and MCC markers. So in your recording, what they are evaluating is that what markers are you demonstrating? So that information has been provided by ICF, that what are they really looking for when you submit a recording as per a certain credential. This is their way of assessing. So I would request you that, the reading material which I had shared, you can pull out all of that from the Coach Federation website. If required, X-Monk's team can share it with you. And you start going through it, that what all is ICF broadly defined as the ways that they are assessing your ability as a coach at the ACC level, PCC level, or MCC level.
Okay, so there's one comment and there are two questions similar. And that's the last question. And then Surbhee, if I may request, if you can just get back to your PPTPs. There are a lot of people saying that let's move on. So one is that thank you so much. This last week actually has strengthened my belief on coaching. Thank you so much for organizing this. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया sir. Thank you so much for being here in all our programs and giving us the strength and trust that whatever we are doing and wherever we are moving is in the right direction. There are two more questions. I would like to know more about ACC. From where can I get that? From where can I know that? I can't wait to jump into the next certification. When are you holding the next certification? So we will share the details with you at the end of the day. We are coming up with an online program in the month of June. So in case you think that coaching is for you and we are the right people for you, please give us an opportunity to assist you in your coaching journey. Over to you, Surbhee.
So for Shiba and for everyone else, just to give you a flavor of how the CKA would look like and how the questions would be there for you. So so what I will do is I will put up one question. The domain name would be mentioned. There is a question with 4 responses. I would request you to put your responses in the chat window, and then I will share the final answer. So are we good to go with this quiz? So the domain is setting the foundation. This is how it will be mentioned. And then once the domain is mentioned, you would have a question with 4 responses. As soon as you go through this and you have identified the answer, please put it in the chat window. I see one response. Okay, all right. And yes, the answer is C. So you got this one right. This is how setting the foundation would have different flavors of questions. It would be around the ethical practices. It would be around differentiating between coaching, mentoring, psychotherapy, and how would you approach your client. It would be around your contract. It would be around your conflict of interest in terms of payments, in terms of your association with that client in any other manner. So it would be a part of this particular domain. So great, we had lots of correct responses. Coming up with the next domain. This is co-creating the relationship. That's right, it helps put the client at ease to an extent. Now let's see how you respond for this one. So we see a lot of C's. Wow, so unanimous response being the option number C, and you've all got it correct. Congratulations. So out of 155 questions, if these were the 2 questions you had, you've already got a score of 2. And there is no negative marking, folks. So you can go about and make your guesswork. The third one, domain communicating effectively. When dealing with a client who brings many issues to the table, it is best for the coach to pick the option where the coach's most expertise, B, of asking what the client would like to start with, C, that looks most likely to be handled in the time available, D, that the coach thinks can do the most for the client. D. So again, I see a unanimous response of B's pouring in, and you all got it correct. So congratulations, 3 on 155. Now let's move on to the next one. The next domain is facilitating learning and results. As I mentioned, this domain would have maximum number of questions in comparison to the first 3 domains as a section. So let's see. Again, we have majority mentioning D as a response, and yes, it is D. So as I mentioned, there would be confusion around 2 options, which would be very close. In this case, it is letting the client self-determine the need for goals, And the second one is facilitating a process around clients' goal setting, planning, and prioritizing. So what would help you here is that our understanding of this domain, which talks about those four key competencies, would also support us in framing or going for that option. So facilitating learning and results are the last four competencies. I'll come to the last one now. This is around your generic information and knowledge about coaching foundations and knowledge base. It would have questions which you would have heard in your classroom. It would have questions which you would have heard in your mentoring sessions. And when we talk about a coaching presence, so just remember your basics carefully when you attempt this section. So let's see what the responses are. A and B and D and O. So we have responses from A, B, and D. There are more which are pouring in. Okay. B and D and A seem to be extremely popular as choices. Let's see what the right answer is. It is B. It is the agenda identified by the client. So here we are talking about our presence. Our presence as the coach, and remembering all the Ericksonian principles, remembering the ethical guidelines, remembering confidentiality. These questions would be a summary of what you have learned in your complete certification process. So this is what the CKA is going to look like. Towards the bottom of the page, you would see options as submit, move back, move ahead, and review for later. So you can identify which are the options you want to review again. My suggestion is that even before you start preparing, applying for your credentialing process, start going through all the material which is available. You can reach out to us. We can explain in greater detail about anything which is required to further enhance your skills as a coach. So this was all I had for all of you today. And if there's anything else you would like to share towards the end of the program.
There are a few questions, Surbhee, if you may.
All right, so we have another 10 to 15 minutes. We can take some more.
Super. What is your biggest learning having gone through this journey for yourself, which helps you position yourself as a unique coach?
Wow, this is quite a tough one. Here, for me, what started as a certification process, and this is something I've shared in different forums, what started as another certification process, when I applied it in my own life, and I applied it in my discussions with people around me, and then when those formal engagements, when there were those formal coaching conversations, the ability to just being there for the other person, that was the moment for me when I realized that yes, I can actually feel what the other person is feeling. I can understand that, are they comfortable, are they getting uncomfortable, is it what they are comfortable sharing. This is, being in that moment with that client is something that I really value. The presence, sitting with the state of non-judgment. It's like I erase the slate. It is sometimes, when I work with my clients, I don't even look at their profiles prior to it, because I don't want to create some assumptions or biases or beliefs around that individual. I just go in that session and I just be with them. I want them to tell me their life story. I want them to tell me what has worked for them, where are they getting stuck, and just being with them in a non-judgmental state. Understanding change is inevitable, following the 5 Ericksonian principles. That has been my key learning in this whole process.
Thank you. Rupali, I guess I have missed your question. If I may request you write your question in the question and answer forum, we'll be more than happy to address that. However, the only question that I can see here is from you. How do we choose mentor? And I guess Surbhee has already addressed that. In case there's some other question, please write down in the question and answer forum. We'll be more than happy to address that. And thank you so much. There are a few people who need to leave. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for being here and supporting us in this journey once again. So the next question is, so with module 1 and 2, we can go for ACC. And if we do 1, 2, 3, 4, can we directly apply for PCC certification as well? So that's a question. Can we apply for PCC after 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yes, you can. But then you need the coaching hours. You need to have 500 coaching hours of practice after completion of this journey, out of which 60 can be pro bono and the rest are paid. So the coaching hours along with your certification course of 125 plus hours, it is what you need as a requirement to register and go ahead with your PCC credentialing.
Okay. Another great question. What do you recommend any tool, any psychometric assessment before beginning an engagement?
That's a very good question. You know, I would personally recommend, we have this assessment tool, the Leadership Circle. And it is a 360 degrees assessment tool, which assesses the leader on the individual on the creative competencies and the reactive tendencies. Now, what I have experienced personally in certain coaching sessions is that sometimes it is difficult for people to open up and to start having a conversation. With these assessments, it is really, it's like, you know, the mirror is right in front of them, and they then start having conversations and discussions around which are the areas that they would really like to work on. So this is something that I can recommend. We also run the assessors program where we certify people to become trained on the assessment tool, the Leadership Circle, also twice in a year. So you can again contact the team in case you're interested.
Thank you. I am doing my ACSTH and now look forward to begin my coaching path. However, as a beginner, I'm struggling a bit to explain what coaching is to client effectively. Client is not aware of coaching. What's your recommendation?
So you have completed your ACSTH training. Now, again, what I would recommend is that you can start having different forums where the education around coaching can be imparted to the people. So if you've identified who your target audience is, please look for forums where you can go and educate them and tell them how coaching can benefit. There is information available on the areas where people have improved by the ICF. There are different studies which show, you know, how coaching has been impactful as a developmental methodology. So when you can bring together information, data, and the complete package to the target audience you have, the education starts helping the people to get curious and to know more. You may want to offer some pro bono sessions to let them see the difference for themselves. Different coaches have used different pathways. They have looked at referrals, they have looked at doing short training modules and then picking up, then requesting for coaching at a differential pricing. So people have used different methodologies. You will have to see what is best available in your scenario. And again, if there's something specific that you want to discuss, you can again connect with us.
Okay. And there's a question that I've not understood. And I'm just going to share that in case you understand that, would genuinely want to address this. It says, can co-hosted learning sessions using coaching methodology be counted as coaching hours? Co-hosted learning sessions. I'm not sure what it means.
What I'm getting the sense of this question as that if they are not training programs approved by ICF, then would they get counted? If this is your question, then you have to see whether you qualify for the portfolio path, which is the non-approved training the training programs which have not been approved by ICF, but by collecting CCE units through different courses, you can start applying in that methodology. If that was the question, then the portfolio path is where you have to look at.
Okay, so there are two more questions that I'm going to ask, and then there are so many questions that we'll not be able to address because of the paucity of the time. Thank you so much, everyone. The first question is, are we doing module 3 and 4 online coming ahead? Yes, definitely. Yes, very soon you'll find us sharing the details and the online program that we're doing. What the first question is, when you use assessments, don't we put people in boxes with assessments at the engagement level? Also, assessments might bring in biases. So how is TLC different from all the other assessments that you may want to share?
Okay, so again, when do we really recommend assessments? So sometimes when the organization have laid out, certain plans, and they want to look at certain competencies where they want their leaders to develop on, then these assessments come in really handy. At the same time, when we have our first session with them, we tell them that these assessments are contextual and they vary with context. And in this whole process of debrief, as a coach, because the leadership circle can be run by somebody who's a certified coach. So we do put in our non-judgmental stance there. And we have a very clear conversation that when you responded, or when the others, as a 360 degrees response, when they responded, these could be the contexts. What do you think about them? And then we look at more scenarios where those responses are either validated or not validated. And then we identify and create a complete developmental plan. So again, sometimes the assessments are recommended by the organization. They have already gone through this process, or they have some information they want to share. And this is one of the way they want to start working with their teams. And sometimes when we recommend, it is with this intention that there is some thoughts and reflection on the areas of development before we start developing. But we will follow the complete coaching process. We will get into the depth of knowing why this is important for them and what would change for them if they achieve this. If it gets validated with what they have seen as responses, it gets picked up as a developmental goal.
Thank you so much, Surbhee, for addressing all these questions so beautifully. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you've got more questions. It goes like this. Will there be assessment after module 2? No. Are there sample questionnaire? Surbhee has already shared. What's the cost of applying for ICF credentials? We'll be more than happy to address. We'll be more than happy to support you in that, because there are different commercials attached to that. In case you are ACSTH, you are ACTP, if you're a member, if you're non-member, so please feel free to reach out to any one of us, and we'll be more than happy to address that. If one decides to do module 1, 2, 3, 4, what will be your recommendation? We'll be more than happy to share that, because it depends on where you are in your journey and what is it that you are longing for. If just a stamp, then I would say anything is okay. Once you've been able to identify why and where of that, our team would be more than happy to share their understanding, and then at the end of the day, you have to take your decision. Thanks, Gaurav and Surbhee, for addressing the question. Thank you so much, Karan, for being such a wonderful, diligent, really diligent, and I must say sincere graduate of Ericsson Coaching International. You have always been very, very proactive in asking questions and being extremely open to understand what's coming in your way. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Surbhee, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Take care. Stay blessed. Bye-bye. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.